Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this just came to the door. This is the Charles Daly 601 DPS, returned from service on July 15th, 2021. I took it out of the box, I popped it apart, I put it back together. I've done nothing to the gun. I just wanted to see how it looked, and unfortunately, I can't report that it looks any better than it did when I sent it to them. And I'll explain that in just a second. But just to prove, it did go to service. Here is Chiappa. Well, I guess you can kind of see my email there, but I'm covering up my mailing address. Repair time, 3/4 of an hour, so 45 minutes. Okay, cool. So you had it for 13 plus weeks, and it only took you 45 minutes to fix it. Supposedly, they didn't have parts, and they were waiting on them to come in from Turkey. Okay, somewhat understandable. Let's see. Synthetic stock, replaced barrel and bolt, tested with Federal 2 3/4 inch number 8. Okay, so they did give me a new barrel, and I can confirm that the front sight block is squared up. It is centered. Bolt. Okay, they replaced the bolt, and that's going to be important here in just a second. Tested with Federal 2 3/4 inch number 8. Well, that doesn't tell me the power level, but I'm going to assume it was something like Top Gun or whatever. And of course, this was a return for service. Okay, so right off the bat, I'll take this off here, bumping the camera. Right off the bat, I can look in and see, okay, this bolt has the O-ring cut once again. All right, we'll take a closer look at that. Out of the box, I pulled this, and this is going to be a little bit funky, and it was drifted all the way to the left. I said, oh God, is it now it's off to the right? No, it's just out of the box, loose as hell. And in order to tighten these appropriately, you do kind of need a little bit of a special tool. You can get in there with a needle nose plier and tighten that down, but really you need the wrench that's made for this smaller one that Benelli came up with. And yeah, so, and the paint's kind of crappy on that dot, whatever, that could be cleaned up. All right, the gun is very oily, and the finish looks decent. All right. Okay, one thing before we break it apart, okay, we open it up. Inside looks a lot cleaner than it was as far as the barrel extension goes. Definitely doesn't have as much tension as the Akos X4 now that I've had the two. So we've been cleared here. I'm going to pull the trigger, cycle the gun. Did you hear that? Okay, there's something going on with the trigger now. Let's come to a reset. Oh, now I had to touch it. Okay, all right, well, let's take a look at that trigger group here. It's just as loose and floppy as before. I didn't expect them to do anything with the trigger, but I do not remember that reset issue. So you come down, if I pull this trigger, so there we've got the disconnect, all right, and it's kind of out of center. So if I pull trigger and hit the disconnect, there it is. It's hanging up on the disconnect because the hammer spur is too long and the disconnect is too long as well. But if I touch it, now it goes to the sear. Will that break in? Probably, but that could lead to hang-ups in firing. I did experience what felt like a hang fire, and I was trying to tap the trigger, get reset, and I accidentally fired it. That was in the original video, and we can kind of see that when those malfunctions initially started. All right, so that kind of explains that. Perhaps that was there regardless initially, but let's get inside the gun now. All right, getting inside the gun. This was tighter than tight. Somebody monkey strength this barrel nut on, which is whatever. I'm gonna pull the barrel real quick. We're gonna set this to the side. All right, so again, this front sight assembly is loose and sliding all around, so I have to tighten that up. Barrel extension looks better finish than last time. It does have some carbon on it, so I do believe that they shot it. Bore is also dirty. Looks like the pistons are brand new. They don't have any marks on them. How many times did they shoot it? I don't know. They fire one round or what? But everything looks fine, and the block does look to be centered on the bore. It's just the front sight post and everything is loose. All right, so there's that. Let's come over here to the bolt group, and let's pull that charging handle, pull that bolt out. All right, so right there, that's just hideous. That is not how that's supposed to be. And it's obvious to me that this bolt carrier is not cut properly. That seems to be a theme with these Charles Dalys. I've seen a couple of guys talk about that. Well, there's some marks on this. It doesn't look like a new bolt carrier. The bolt doesn't, I mean, I can't tell a difference if the bolt's new or not. Oh, would you look at that? And yes, I've already seen this. Okay, this is the original bolt carrier. They did not replace the problem. You know what they did? Somebody took a Dremel tool and a needle file and hacked off the burr that had occurred. So how much, this is a direct question to Chiappa. Are you competent? Are you capable of actually taking care of your customers? Because the obvious, and that's basically rhetorical at this point, the obvious answer is no, you're not. Chiappa, you're not capable of taking care of your customers. It took you 13 weeks to replace a barrel. You did nothing with the bolt group, and you claim you fired a test round, which I guess I believe because that barrel looks new. How did you not tighten down the front sight? This is the old carrier, the bolt carrier. The bolt wasn't the problem. The carrier and the pistons were. I'm trying not to yell expletives right now because I can't believe how either incompetent or dumb you are at Chiappa. I don't want to rag at you. And if somebody from Chiappa sees this, I would love a call. I want to discuss this. Because how can I, in good conscience, even sell this thing off if I don't want this gun anymore? How can I do that? How is this supposed to work? How am I supposed to be confident that this is going to work? There is no bearing surface for that piston end to hit. So even if the piston is fine, even if it's not overgassed, if this is soft, if this carrier has a problem with temper, you're forcing more and more pressure, you're impinging more and more power onto a smaller surface area. That's going to mushroom again. Whether the piston takes deformation or not, that is going to take deformation. It is going to cause a problem again, and it will lead to a failure. On a gun that you are marketing as a defensive shotgun, something that somebody can trust their life to, you suck. And that's putting it kindly. You suck. I am just as angry as I was when I sent this off to you. You took 13 weeks, over 13 weeks, to fix and return it to me, and all you did was hack off the corner of the bolt carrier and give me a new barrel. And you didn't even check the front sight. You claim you shot around. You're pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. And the funny thing is, guys, that back to my audience, not directly at Chiappa, the funny thing is, at 13 plus weeks, so last Thursday, I emailed them telling them it has been over 13 weeks. I don't understand, nor is it acceptable that you don't have a long lead time on items that are coming in from Turkey. I understand the circumstances we are with shipping and manufacturing in this world right now, but you should have some form of a turnaround anticipated. And I was told that we literally just finished fixing it today. It'll go out tomorrow. It did not go out in the mail on the 9th of July, as I was told. It went out on the, on Tuesday, the 13th. So 2-day shipping on a firearm shows up Thursday, the 15th. You didn't fix the gun. You hacked the bolt carrier and you put a new barrel on it and you claim you test fired it. 1 round, 2 rounds, I don't know. Sure, it'll work 1 or 2 rounds. I proved it'll work for about 70 rounds. I asked you to send me a fixed gun, a new example, or refund my money. You chose to send me a quote-unquote fixed gun, and I found it ironic and coincidental and kind of funny, truly funny. I'm not narcissist or self-absorbed enough or sadistic enough to think that my email prompted you to jump on it and send this gun back out of nowhere. But come on, guys. 13 and a half weeks for this BS? For this? The inside of the receiver is just as galled that I can't even tell if somebody tried to clean it up at all. Which it's not impeding the sliding of the bolt carrier, but it does look like they replaced my rail with another polymer rail. And it's got flashing still on it a little bit. So this rail is not worth the time of day. I would replace this. If you have a Charles Daly and you have a polymer rail, I would replace this right away. I did not ask for the rear sight. The rear sight is still polymer, of course. It is the same exact gun. It looks decent from across the room. But, okay, so I didn't catch this. If I had caught this, I would have told them to fix that too. The disconnect thing, and this trigger group is wobbly as wobbly gets. So it's sticking right there. Look at that. Yeah. There we go. So that's not 100%. I would need to reprofile that with a needle file and a stone very, very gently to get that to work properly. This is not okay. This is just sloppy. I mean, it's pathetic. It's disappointing and pathetic. So my analysis remains the same. Don't buy the Charles Daly 601 or DPS. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your money, especially when I just spent an extra $35 over what it cost me on this gun and bought a gun that accomplishes everything an M4 clone is supposed to accomplish. Pretty much spent the same price for 100 times the gun. Yeah, your finish is a little bit more glossy and nice and a little bit heavier on the barrel, but I don't see this gun having longevity whatsoever. I would rather have a gun that wears down to the white 2 years after I bought it, but never stops functioning and always cycles, than a gun that looks pretty and I don't know when it's gonna break down. I don't know when it's gonna stop functioning because of the quality issues with it. I hate doing this. This is the first gun I've ever ragged on. I've done a couple of reviews. This is the first one I've ever ragged on, and this is not something that was sent to me or provided by anybody. I paid for this. This was $550 before tax of my own money. And I am going to bet that Chiappa will not replace it. I don't believe I'm going to shoot this. If I decide to change my mind and do something different, I will. But opinion remains the same. This is a piece of junk. Don't buy it. If you have one and it works, good for you. Happy for you. Great, fantastic, wonderful, all those great things. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it gives you long time service. But this is the quality that Chiappa is willing to not only sell at a store out of the box, but also send back to you after return service request. 13 and a half weeks, and the best they could do was give me a new barrel with a loose front sight and jacked up bolt carrier still. I could have done that, guys. I could have done that. I could have done a better job than that, actually. I don't know what's wrong with you people, but you don't know how to run a business and you don't know how to treat your customers right. Unfortunately, that's all for this video. I didn't enjoy making this. I know you guys probably didn't enjoy watching this, but until next time, this is Drake for American Arms Channel. God bless, keep your powder dry, and don't buy a Chiappa.